69 seconds. That's all it took Morocco to score against Scotland at Gillette Stadium. One clinical pressing moment, one devastating late counter. Scotland never recovered from either. This is how Mohamed Wabi's side executed their World Cup 2026 opener to perfection. Scotland came into this match with a 3-5-2 under Steve Clarke. Three central defenders providing cover, wingbacks in Robertson and Patterson providing width, and Scott McTominay alongside Che Adams up front. The logic was sound. Numerical superiority in midfield, a back three to absorb pressure, and physical presence at both ends. Morocco answered with a 4-2-3-1. Four defenders, two defensive midfielders providing the base, an attacking trident of Brahim Diaz, Ounahi, and El Khanous ahead of them, and Ismael Saibari as the lone striker. But Morocco's formation is almost secondary to their philosophy. Press high, press early, press as a unit before the opposition thinks. Scotland's defensive block, however well organized, was built to hold shape against teams building from depth. What it could not absorb was Morocco pressing in the first 60 seconds. Scotland kicked off. Morocco didn't wait. Saibari immediately pressed Scotland's backline, closing down Hanley before he could play out. The three center-backs had no clean angles. Robertson was high on the left. Patterson pushed right. The midfield three of Christie, Ferguson, and McGinn hadn't settled. The pressing trigger was pulled inside the first minute. Watch how Morocco's press functions as a system. Saibari presses Hanley's body position, forcing him sideways. Brahim Diaz shadows Robertson, eliminating the switch. El Khanous covers the lane to Christie. Scotland have no safe pass in their own half. The moment Hanley plays the ball under pressure, Saibari is already tracking the trajectory. He intercepts deep in Scotland's final third, drives forward with pace. One defender, Hendry, is out of position. Gunn is off his line. Saibari finishes into the bottom corner. 69 seconds on the clock. The left-back's problem. Patterson had advanced so high in Scotland's initial shape that when the turnover happened, Scotland were exposed centrally. The pressing trigger didn't just win the ball, it won the match's opening momentum completely. Morocco managed the remainder of the first half and the second without drama. Scotland pushed more bodies forward as the game progressed. Robertson advancing constantly, substitutes adding legs. But chasing a goal with a 3-5-2 creates a structural vulnerability. When wingbacks advance in a 3-5-2, the space behind them is enormous. Morocco knew it. They waited. 90 minutes and 5 minutes added. Scotland threw bodies forward in search of a leveler. Robertson was deep in Morocco's territory. Patterson 50 yards from his defensive station. McTominay and Adams both committed high. When Morocco won the ball, there was almost nobody home. Amaimouni, on as a substitute around the 68th minute, was already making his run behind Patterson's vacated position before the Morocco player even looked up. This is transition exploitation in its most clinical form. Scotland have committed 8 outfield players into the Morocco half, corners, set-piece options, attacking intent. Morocco's defender wins the ball centrally. Amaimouni is already in the channel behind Patterson, who is stranded 30 meters from his defensive line. One controlling touch, onto his stronger foot, he drives across goal. Gunn dives left but has no angle. 2-0. The right-back's problem. Patterson's advanced position was a tactical necessity for Scotland chasing the match, but it was also the exact vulnerability Morocco had been inviting Scotland to create. Amaimouni's run started before the ball was won. That timing is not accident, that is coaching. Morocco's game plan against Scotland came down to 2 complementary tactical concepts. Their primary weapon was the pressing trigger, deploying Saibari to force rush decisions deep in Scotland's defensive third. Win the ball high, and the attack is already more than half done. Their secondary weapon was transition exploitation, maintaining defensive compactness precisely so that, when Scotland committed forward, the space in behind was maximized. Scotland's 3-5-2 was undone in both phases. The formation's strength, wing-back width and midfield numbers, became its weakness. Robertson and Patterson's natural tendency to advance created the very gaps Morocco targeted on the counter. The pressing trigger 1 goal 1, the transition 1 goal 2. Morocco scored in the first minute and the last. They were clinical at both extremes. Morocco are building something serious at this World Cup. Subscribe for every tactical breakdown, goal by goal, concept by concept. Next up, how Matheus Cunha's brace dismantled Haiti's deep block before halftime.